It's the morning star drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the morning star drive, you know.
Hey guys, how's it going? It is Wednesday, March 17th, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we'll get some coronavirus updates, current news from around the world, realizing from the 316 messages, and of course, best class ever with Sean Jusong McMillan. And yes, it is a little bit different because yesterday was 316. We did a special episode, so we did push the best class ever to today. So how you guys doing? It is the day after 316, and I hope you guys just had an amazing, awesome time just making up for all the mistakes we made in the past when we couldn't celebrate it the best way. I hope that everyone is really just restarting their faith and doing things in a better way. I just want to remind everyone to keep liking and commenting, and I want to hear from you guys and see how you're doing. So write your questions, requests, and testimonies too. All right, guys. So yesterday, amazing. We had the morning service where Sunsim gives a deep message about the rapture, and then we had the celebration that was from 2 to 4:30 p.m. over there in Korea. I hope you guys were just really inspired and moved by it, and you were really focused from the beginning to the end. Yesterday night, we had a live Lab 78 on what do Malaysians think about gender equality, and I actually went around Malaysia and I started interviewing people to see what they thought about gender equality in Malaysia. And this Sunday, well, last Sunday's Sunday edition, what did we do? We had an interview with Hannah Mulvihill from America. Great interview. A lot of people have already been contacting me how they were inspired by it. And we have another one coming next Sunday. We'll be meeting another member, a male member from somewhere else around the world. Actually, it's a lie. It's from the same country, but kind of like not the same country because they're on completely different sides of the country. And if you guys know America, there's like 6 time zones in America, and there are 3-hour difference in time zones too. So make sure to catch that interview also. Open Bible study on Monday about the spiritual world intro. That is already posted on Patreon, so go ahead and take a look at that if you're on there. And that means let's go into today's March 17th featured artist of the day. So it is kind of feels like a new time has begun after 316, and I hope that everyone is going to enjoy this member music from around the world. And of course, we're going to start with something new. So new song featured, new single came out yesterday from Dia Wings in Korea. The song is called The Way to Go, and that is based off of Sunsim's poem. Okay, so they are very, they're not just trying to make any type of music. They are basing it on Sunsim's poetry and what Sunsim says. And this song is called The Way to Go, right? So awesome song, guys. We're going to hear that first. That's the newest single that just came out on 316. And then we're going to listen to Isomers from Paper Music Associates in Korea with LYL, Live Your Life. And then last but not least, we're going to break it down with The Sky from Japan. And this song is called Home. Right, guys, more than anything else, with a fresh new heart after 316, let's really pray for these member artists from around the world.
힘들었던 지난 날은 모두 잊어요. 그마저도 가치 있게 내 디딘 걸음이었으니 아파 흘렸던 눈물보다 희망으로 기다렸던 빛나는 순간을 기억해. 그려진 기억도 짙어진 추억도 모두 다 빛나는 걸. 다 똑같아 보여도 저마다 사연이 달라. 너의 얘기를 들려줘. 너와 나 갈 길은 끝에서 끝까지 가다가 아니 갈 테면 차라리 아니 떠나만 못하리라. 노래하고 춤추고 아기자기 얘기 나누고 우리 갈 길은 비바람 스치고 눈보라 친데도 This is the way to go. It's my way. Go straight up. It's my way. This is the way to go. 이래저래 시끄럽던 모든 말들은 지금 이 순간부턴 더욱 의미 없어졌어. 그대와 나 여기 이곳에 이렇게 함께 있고 그 하나면 충분하니까.
살다 보면 빠져버려 그러다 너도 버려 쓸데없는 건 같아 버려 수시로 머릿속 청소 잘해야지 평소에 한 게 있디 한 개 더요. This is the way to go.
너와 나 갈 길은 끝에서 끝까지 가다가 아니 갈 테면 차라리 아니 떠나만 못하리라. 노래하고 춤추고 아기자기 얘기 나누고 우리 갈 길은 비바람 스치고는 몰아친대도 This is the way to go. It's my way. Go straight up. It's my way. This is the way to go. 너와 나 갈 길은 처음부터 끝까지 가다가 아니 갈 테면 차라리 아니 떠나만 못하리라. 노래하고 춤추고 아기자기 얘기 나누고 우리 갈 길은 비바람 스치고는 몰아친대도 This is the way to go.
난 시계 마냥 부조신 자니 너희들의 폭음덕에 나 듯이 애맨 드림 단계 난 주고 들어갈래 heaven 왜 스프링 자리 잡고 나도 구운 밥에 자본주의 돈 버는 머신에는 너로 시리가 돼도 좋아 주머니만 채워줘 비꼬르 돈이라서 날 더 깨워줘 잠잠 나의 같은 나를 데리게라 쥐를 밟아주려 하니 또 연임이 오신 덕에 난 더 빠르게 될 수 있어 너희들 100천만 하는 그때니 5천만의 라이스길이 결국엔 많이 한 곳으로 모이지 돈이 뭐니 돈이 결국 답이 돈 없음 불행하지 너만큼 지루하지 비슷했건 그런대로 비가 되지 아버지만 아니에요 젊은 것도 포함이죠 비꼬는 거 아냐 비스크 쳤다 미안해 I'm a lover yeah ever dream 죽었다면 꿈을 못 꾸지 네가 말한 생각이 또 틀린 거니 먼저 버린 왜 너만 계속하니 내 꿈 찾으러 왜 날이 올라가리 따뜻해도 야 외로워 또 미래 같이 가는 형들 기다리고 있음 알았으면 짐을 싸야지만 나를 많이 사랑 나는 꿈을 꿀 사람은 가는 곳이 하나 8살의 나침반 가슴 중앙에 팡 나는 아이언맨 모든 미래 드림 날 이걸 잊지 말아 뭘 라면이면 어때 시간 빠르게 해서 정신 차려 네가 말했던 가나 네가 많이 있어 생겨나면 실 정도면 감사해 가
나 집어 fly away 뭘 고민해 시간 아깝게 누가 뭐래 Cause I'm an ace like a child again yeah 눈을 떠보니 잊어버렸었지만 꿈에서 봤던 내가 아직 거기 있다면 take me there yeah
알람은 꺼져요 Why are you 안 달라 꿈속에서 꺼내와 사랑해 내 꿈 그래서 만날 거야 기다려봐도 난 널 보고 죽을래 시간이 빨라 놓치기 전에 퓨보름 다리 펴에서 달려 Kick I go like 꿈꾸도 Waste my 말이 얼었잖아 내 신발 봐 I want no city 당당하게 그럼 결국 날 날려 걸음의 생이 될 거야 내 기억 내 막으로 못 넘겨들어 넌 그러건 꿈꿔
난 내가 아닌 게 기웃거리 boy 내 꿈에 눈이 멀어버리는 게 나 Just live your life, live your life oh, 다 집어던지고 fly away 뭘 고민해 시간 아깝게 누가 뭐래 Cause I'm an ace like a child again yeah 눈을 떠보니 잊어버렸었지만 꿈에서 봤던 내가 아직 거기 있다면 take me there
思い悩むことはない特に変わりはしないからいつもの笑顔のまま明るくやり過ごそう眉間にシワを寄せたあなたも可愛いけどその顔で長くいるのはとても疲れるでしょうさあ手を取って歩き出そう僕らの家へ帰ろう二人なら乗り越えられるから僕らの家へ帰ろうもうその涙拭って鼻水も噛んじゃいな繋いだ手固く握って離したりはしないから僕らの温かな方帰ったらいつものさあ手を取って歩き出そう僕らの家へ帰ろう二人なら乗り越えられるから僕らの家へ帰ろう
And that was The Sky from Japan, and that song was Home. Really good, nice, slow song. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. Before that was Isomers from the Paper Music Associates in Korea, and that was LYL, Live Your Life. And the featured artist of the day, Diowings from Korea, new hit single. It's called The Way to Go, and this was based on Sunseem's poetry, so I hope that you guys really enjoyed that too. Go ahead, check them out, Diowings, on their YouTube page, and you'll see this new song on there too. Awesome mixing, is good producing on this one. It's very professionally done, and I know that they spent a lot of money on this too. All right, that means we're going to get into a time of news coming from around the world, and of course we'll start off with the coronavirus updates for today. In the world, at the moment, there's 120.6 million cases with 2.6 million deaths, and that is a 2.21% mortality rate, which means it did go down 0.01%. Great news. If it's globally, that's a lot of lives, right? In the US, 30 million cases, 547,000 deaths at 1.82%. Brazil, 11.4 million cases, 278,000 deaths at 2.42%. India, 11.4 million cases, 158,000 deaths at 1.39%. France, 4 million cases, 90,000 deaths at 2.22%, and France is slowly closing in on the 100,000 death mark. Italy already there, 3.2 million cases, 102,000 deaths at 3.17%, and then Poland, to round off the top six, 1.9 million cases, 47,000 deaths at 2.46%. Sweden, only country not to go into lockdown, 1.84%, they went down 0.02%, and then Belgium also goes down to 2.78%, and Belgium was a country that was at the highest mortality rate of over 16%. Now let's take a look at the daily infection rates. This is where you get a good idea of how much these vaccines are actually working. Numbers are way down across the board. Brazil with 44,000 cases in a day. The US was 36,000. Then India and France both with 26,000 cases. Italy with 21,000 cases, and Poland rounds at the top 6 with 17,000 cases in a day. All the numbers have gone down. Over here in Southeast Asia, there's been a change of guard. The number one country when it comes to daily infection rates is now the Philippines. 4,800 cases in a day, and then Indonesia with 4,700, and then Malaysia over here with 1,300 cases in a single day. So, couple news going around the world, top three things, and this is some good news too. Let's take a look at the first one, which is about the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church cannot bless same-sex unions. So the Catholic Church does not have the power to bless same-sex unions, the Vatican, responsible for doctrine, has said. It is impossible for God to bless sin, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith said on Monday, but they did note the positive elements in same-sex relationships. So in October, Pope Francis said in a documentary that he thought same-sex couples should be allowed to have civil unions, and in the Catholic Church, a blessing is given by a priest or other minister in the name of the Church. And on Monday, Pope Francis approved the response by the CDF, saying it was not intended to be a form of unjust discrimination, but rather a reminder of the truth of the liturgical rite. So some parishes in recent months, including in Germany and the US, have started giving blessings to people in same-sex relationships as a way to welcome gay Catholics to the church. This is what Reuters news agency reported. So the CDF's response was in answer to the question posed, does the church have the power to give the blessing to unions of persons of the same sex? And it replied, no. That's a negative. So the CDF noted that marriage between a man and a woman is a sacrament, and therefore blessings cannot be extended to same-sex couples, and for this reason, it is not licit to impart a blessing on relationships or partnerships, even stable, that involve sexual activity outside of marriage or outside the indissoluble union of a man and a woman open in itself to the transmission of life, as is the case of the unions between persons of the same sex. Right? So what has the reaction been? Well, in defiant response, people posted photos from their same-sex weddings, including different famous people, right? Chasten Buttigieg, which is the husband of 2020 U.S. presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg. Progressive Catholic groups expressed their concern at the Vatican's declaration too. And then there's another group called Catholics for Choice. They tweeted, being LGBTQ is not a choice. LGBTQ people are wonderfully made by God. We are born this way and perfectly so, regardless of what the Vatican or any other religious authority might claim. And also, executive director of gay Catholic group New Ways Ministry said the Vatican statement was not surprising, but still disappointing. So, what has Pope Francis said in the past? Well, in 2013, Pope Francis famously said, "Who am I to judge gay people?" And last year, the pontiff said in a documentary that homosexual people have a right to be in a family. They are children of God and have a right to a family. Nobody should be thrown out or made miserable over it. So the Vatican later attempted to clarify the comments, saying they were taken out of context and did not indicate support for same-sex marriages. So this is a very big step for the Catholic Church. And it does clarify their stance on the same-sex marriages, right? Let's go over to Myanmar, and things are just getting worse and worse over there. The Myanmar military extends martial law after bloodiest day since the coup began on February 1st. So, Myanmar's military has imposed martial law across more districts around the country following the deadliest day of protests since February's coup. About 50 people were reported killed when troops and police opened fire on protesters in various areas on Sunday. Most deaths were in Yangon. I believe that's the capital. So protesters are demanding the release of ousted civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi. And she's the one that heads the NLD, or the National League for Democracy, which saw a landslide victory in elections last November. The military detained most of the NLD leadership after the coup, alleging voter fraud, but no proof has been provided. So Ms. Suu Kyi has been held at an unknown location since the February 1st coup, and she is due to face a slew of charges her supporters say are fabricated. So on Monday, She was due to appear in court, but the virtual hearing was adjourned due to internet problems, and the military initially declared martial law in 2 districts, right? Yangon, the country's largest city, on Sunday after Chinese businesses were attacked, and martial law was imposed in several other areas of Yangon and Mandalay on Monday. So protesters there can now be tried in military courts. So protesters believe China is giving support to the military in Myanmar, which is also called Burma, but it is unclear who was behind the weekend attacks. So most of Sunday's casualties were reported in Yangon, and in total, more than 120 protesters have been killed during the crackdown, according to the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners monitoring group. So on Monday, there were fresh protests in Mandalay and a number of other locations, and casualties were reported after security forces opened fire on protesters in the central towns of Myingyan and Aunglan. So that is definitely really sad news that we have to think about and pray for. Myanmar, over 50 people died in a single day, the deadliest day so far. Last but not least, we're going to go over to Germany, France, Italy, and Spain because some news about the vaccine. Germany, France, Italy, and Spain have halted the use of an AstraZeneca vaccine. So suspensions follow reports that some people developed blood clots after receiving the shot. But the WHO and the EMA say they have seen no evidence of a link. So Germany, France, Italy, and Spain have suspended the use of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine after several reports of blood clots in people who received the shot in Europe. So the flurry of suspensions on Monday came after a number of other countries, mostly in Europe, halted their rollouts late last week. The WHO has backed the use of the vaccine and said it has no evidence that the shot had caused clotting. The UN Health Agency is reviewing the reports related to the jab and urged countries not to suspend vaccinations, as its top scientists said people should not panic. So the European Medicines Agency said in a statement that it has not found any evidence of links between thrombosis cases and the AstraZeneca shot, saying that the shot's benefits outweigh the risks and was safe to use. The regulator is reviewing the shot and will issue a decision on any further action on Thursday. So, EU members have halted the shots. Like German health minister said the country suspended the use of the shot on the advice of the national vaccine regulator. And the institute had called for further investigation into 7 reported cases of clots in the brains of people who had received the vaccination. So today's decision, they said, is purely precautionary measures. And France and Italy announced similar moves shortly afterwards. So the French President Macron said the use of the AstraZeneca shot would be suspended as a precautionary measure until at least Tuesday afternoon, when the EU's medicines regulator, the EMA, will issue its recommendation over the vaccine. So Macron did not elaborate on the reasoning behind the decision, but told the news conference he hoped France would be able to vaccinate with AstraZeneca shots again soon. Now, Italy's Medicines Authority, the AIFA, meanwhile said it was implementing its own suspension as a precautionary and temporary measure pending rules by the EMA, and the announcement followed the seizure of hundreds of thousands of doses of the vaccine by Italian prosecutors in the northern region of Piedmont, where a teacher died following his vaccination. So experts are investigating whether this is a connection between his death and the vaccination. And late on Monday, Spain's health minister, Carolina Darius, said the country was suspending its use of the vaccine for 2 weeks, just as a precaution. So she said the decision would remain in place until the EMA analyzes the recent incidences of blood clots, notably over the weekend. Okay, so AstraZeneca said there's no cause for concern with this vaccine, which is jointly produced with the United Kingdom's University of Oxford, and that there were fewer reported thrombosis cases in those who received the shot than in the general population. Now, Oxford University told Al Jazeera the AstraZeneca vaccine went through rigorous clinical trials and blood clots were not identified as a problem. So the safety pause, they think, is certainly the prerogative of the regulators in these countries. However, they've heard from the WHO, the European Medicines Agency, and others that at this point the benefits of vaccination clearly outweigh the risk. So the WHO is urging calm to everyone. The EMA and the WHO also said available data does not suggest the vaccine caused the clots and people should continue to be immunized with the shot. Now, the WHO on Monday called on countries not to suspend vaccinations against a disease that has caused more than 2.7 million deaths worldwide, and The UN Health Agency's top scientists reiterated that there have been no documented deaths linked to the coronavirus vaccine. So they don't want people to panic, right? And there's been no association so far pinpointed between the thromboembolic events, right, that are reported in some countries, and the reassurances appear to have done little to calm the doubts. However, with several countries having now temporarily halted the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine in recent days, so people are going to panic a little bit more. So Denmark, Norway, Ireland, Netherlands, Iceland, Bulgaria, Portugal, Slovenia were among those to suspend the use of the shot. So it has been suspended in many countries in the EU. So we'll see what happens with that also. All right. So that is today's current news from around the world. Hope that it kind of opens our eyes to see what God is doing. And in this new time, I hope that we'll really, really be able to pray even more for the country, for our countries, for the world, and really pray that people realize what God is doing and they realize what God is doing right now in this world. All right? So let's get into time of something a little bit more spiritual. We're going to have a time of praise and worship. So what kind of praise and worship do we have today? We're going to start off with clap, clap, clap as one. Now that we have received the rapture, once again, 3:16, it is time for us to clap as one, meaning let us be unified and go out and make history. And then we're going to listen to God of the Righteous. And of course, we'll end off with a very Shimjonic song, The Path of Love.
Clap, clap, clap as one. Clap, 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 our hearts as one. bundles of hay. He'll burn their branches and roots, leaving no remains behind. With fire I'll burn them all. But to all of you who fear and worship my name, the Son of Justice will rise up blazingly. Brilliant rays of healing will shine upon all of you. Like calves set free, you will run and jump, jump for joy. Our God will always be on the side of the righteous. Almighty God is our salvation. He is our refuge, our Jehovah. I shall fear and worship His name. I shall praise and honor His name. And when the day of the Lord comes, we will strike the drums of victory. Jehovah God will fulfill that day in smelting fire. He shall fulfill that day, burn the wicked and proud away. Like bundles of hay, He'll burn their branches and roots, leaving no remains behind. With fire I'll burn them all. But to all of you who fear and worship my name, you will surely trample on all of the wicked ones. When that set day comes, you will trample on all of them. They will turn to ashes, and you will achieve true victory. Our God will always be on the side of the righteous. Almighty God is our salvation. He is our refuge, our Jehovah. I shall fear and worship His name. I shall praise and honor His name. And when the day of the Lord comes, we will strike the drums of victory. God will always be on the side of the righteous. Almighty God is our salvation. He is our refuge, our Jehovah. I shall fear and worship His name. I shall praise and honor His name. And when the day of the Lord comes, we will strike the drums of victory.
Since I have come, you've come as well. And today we become one with God, one with the Spirit. We unite on this path of love. We must walk now and for all eternity. This path will never change. Hear the word flows without end. Proudly we go on, always for providence. Now and always hope will shine brighter than the sun. This eternal love and hope forever shines bright. Finally, this love of ours fulfilled God's will at last. The Lord our God's promises will not fail, they will stand without change, now and for all eternity. Finally, this love of ours fulfilled God's will at last. The Lord our God's promises will not fail, they will stand without change, now and for all eternity. Since I have come, you've come as well, and today we become one with God, one with the Spirit. We unite on this path of love. We must walk now and for all
And that was The Path of Love, a deep Shimjonic song. And of course, that was also, we sang that in today's celebration, well, yesterday's celebration for 316. Before that, we listened to God of the Righteous, and then also Clap, Clap, Clap as one. All right, guys, so we are going into some word study, but I just don't even know what to talk about for the word study because just yesterday was super incredible. I don't know about you guys, but it really, really felt like I don't know, I guess it's been a long time since I've really felt that rush of like, wow, this is really, we're rapturing, like we're raising another level. And people are going up into the Golden City right now. New people are going up too. And yeah, I'll have to say it was just an incredible event yesterday. It was just, the way that it was done is just perfect. It was just really, really perfect. And from the pre-dawn, and then you have a short break, and then we went from that like 2 to 4 p.m. I was just super, super happy about that. And yeah, I would have to say that I'm not sure. Well, I think everyone did. Like, we really, really felt it was a different rapture celebration, the seventh one and the sixth commemoration, right? So I was just really like, wow. I was really inspired, really moved, and it's been a while since I've had that feeling for 316, and I guess because we have made a lot of mistakes in the past, but this was done so well yesterday. So I was very grateful and thankful that we're able to commemorate that time of becoming the counterparts of God and the Holy Spirit and the Holy Son. And just the messages, just all day, the messages were great, right? The history, like, even though there were some, it was a treacherous path, but yet it was a history of blessing. And it was just done in such a good way. I'm not even trying to, I can't even think about like a lot of the points in there. I was just really inspired. That last prayer, and then Sunstein prays at the very end. I was really, I could really feel it at that time. And just the way that everything was put from the pre-dawn all the way to the actual celebration, where you can see just the way that Sunstein put it in the message of all the different messages that we had to put into action. And he says, you can really see how God led us to this very point, from the messages about doing things in a new way, finding lost sheep, being diligent, having faith and believe. It's just so many things that you're like, wow, it's so true. God really, really prepared us from January for this very moment. And it really reminds me of the same thing that happened in 2015 when the actual rapture happened. It was like all of a sudden the message changes and we're like, what? Like I don't have to talk about rapture anymore. We're like, what? Right? And I was just really, really inspired. And you can see this time, I really enjoyed it also because we had 2 days from the Sunday message, because Sunday message was incredible too. Really inspiring, moving, teary. I didn't cry during the celebration or the pre-dawn for 316, but it was inspiring. That inspiring, like, wow, this is so incredible. Yeah, and I really felt happy, and I was like really happy for God too that it was finally finished. And yeah, it's new people were raptured. Those who are already raptured, it felt like we went to a new level. And we really need to, I love this, like the thought, what happened yesterday was like, we really need this every year. We need to be awake and come to our senses every year. And it's kind of that reminder, like, come on, guys, this is what we're doing, right? During the celebration, it seems like I am the person who is like, what do you call that thing? The moderator, right? I'm the one who's doing the wedding. He's like, God, do you love these people forever? And then God's like, yes. He says yes. And they're like, how about you guys? You want to go with a never changing heart? And it was like, what's that thing called when you, renewing the vows? That's what it felt like. Right, but we're going to be doing every single year. I know, like, people who are married, they do renew their vows, like, sometimes 15, 20 years into their marriage, they'll renew it again. But it's so cool that we're actually, it's been the seventh time, and this renewal it just really felt special. And just the renewing of the vows, he's like, guys, you got to be more fiery, more passionate, never grow tired, never change your heart, become more excited, have a more ideal relationship. The love has to be endless. The love has to be continual. So even that, I'm just very thankful for yesterday. And I just really felt a reviving in my heart, and something where we can say, yeah, this is something that's a lot different than before. It was very different. I'm not sure about some of you guys. Some of you might be out there like, no, every year it's been like this. But for me, it wasn't like this every single year. But yesterday was special. It really was. So I'm very grateful and thankful. And of course, the reminder that the secret of rapture is just love. Right? Even if you're not ready, even if you're not wearing the clothes, God looks back and says, oh, I feel sorry for you guys. And then he's like, takes you up. And then he's like, not the right clothes. And then you strip down, and then God puts on new clothes for you and everything else like that too. So it was really, really like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it's just from the beginning to the very end, it's this continuous rapture. This rapture history is going to continue. The wedding banquet is going to continue. The life of prayer has to continue. It's not an end point. It's a new beginning once again. And we're beginning the life of the rapture. And I hope that all of us too can really take that to heart as we were able to receive that message really well yesterday. Yeah, man, it's just, guys, just rapture, right? So for these new people, like even for me, it's really special for me because also there were, I met some on the 15th, right before, like there's these newcomers at church and they're like really wanting to rapture, and there's like, it's crazy because the day before on the 15th, it was their last time meeting their church and talking to them and telling them that they're going to be leaving their church, and the elders are coming to talk to them and doing these other things. But they finally finished everything. It ended around like 11 p.m. for them. And then they, everything was completed. So I was like, oh, and when I was thinking about it during this message, like, oh, they raptured too. They definitely raptured no matter what. So yeah, I was just really, really happy for that too, that two more people can come and be raptured into this history also. So I hope that all of us here continue to do things in a new way. Very, very happy because this is exactly, today's the 17th is the exactly 1 year to the first podcast that actually came out. I actually recorded on the 16th, but it came out on the 17th. So this is the 1 year anniversary. Super, super grateful and thankful to all of you out there who are joining us here for the Morning Star Drive for an entire year. Some of you came in the middle, but it's kind of like the rapture, right? We join in any time, right? You don't have to listen to all of them. As long, just thankful and grateful for you guys supporting. And even super grateful for those that are supporting on Patreon, just for the sake of supporting those of you who are doing lecture training, whatever it is. Very grateful and thankful. And it reminded me, this is a time to do things in new ways. So I hope that a lot of new things will happen. And we are not living, as the message said yesterday, we're not living in a history of waiting. It's not a history of theory, but we are hearing the words of God. We're putting it to action, and we're achieving the ideal world in reality, right? So super grateful and thankful. And I hope that everyone have a wonderful time. I know we're not at the end of today's broadcast. Today was just the word study, but I was just really grateful and thankful. And I wanted to... I want to go straight into the song of choice for today, and the song, really, really inspiring song I wanted to put up to, and his song is called Rise Up by Andra Day. Very inspiring song, so I hope that you guys will also be inspired by this music too, and then we'll go into the final segment for today. So this song of choice for today is from Andra Day, and the song is called Rise Up.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Yes, and I hope that that was a really inspiring song for all of you to just really take this new year with a new fresh heart, and that we'll go out and we'll rapture more and more each and every day. Thank you so much, guys, for all that you've done, which leads us into the last segment for today. And of course, yesterday was 316, so I didn't do the segment for Sean Jusung McMillan is the best class ever, but we will do it today. So last segment for today, we're going to listen to Sean Jusung McMillan over there in Texas, and we're going to listen to the best class ever.
While there's a lot of self-help and self-improvement gurus out there explaining how to be happy, research has shown that most of these techniques may temporarily boost your happiness, but most people soon return to what for them is a certain consistent base level happiness. But there is one technique that research has shown dramatically and consistently raises people's reported base level of happiness. My name is Sean Jung-Jusung McMillan, and this is the best class ever. Thankfulness journaling has proven to be one of the most reliable ways to improve your happiness. It's so simple. Just take out a sheet of paper and write out 5 things that you are really thankful for. Or start a gratitude journal and choose a couple days out of the week to take notice of the good things happening in your life. Last week we mentioned some educational YouTube channels, and there are quite a few of them that have videos dedicated to some of this research. My favorite of these is the one by Kurzgesagt, titled The Antidote to Dissatisfaction. Do not try to search for it, because this YouTube channel's name is the single most difficult channel name I have ever come across. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it. Kurzgesagt? Anyways, they make a beautifully designed gratitude journal. John Green even made a video about it. It's great, especially for beginners. For me personally, I wake up early every morning and pray and meditate. I have managed to keep this habit up ever since I graduated college, so I consider myself a pro. And occasionally, I do like to write out my thoughts, as opposed to just silently thinking, because me, alone with my thoughts, can easily lead to wandering or thinking in circles. Handwriting is slower, and that friction allows me to focus and keep my thoughts focused more easily. In doing this, I always start out by listing out 5 to 10 things that I'm really thankful for. It really is the best way to start your day, and it leads to positive thinking throughout your day. It helps you to notice and to remember the good things that are happening in your life. Starting with this small victory gives you the confidence to try and achieve more small victories, leading to a positive feedback loop that operates like a flywheel. A flywheel is part of the engine that is hard to turn the first time, but then uses its own momentum to generate more and more speed more and more easily. Stopping to notice the good things that have happened in your life and starting the day well creates what we call that flywheel effect. A good morning leads to a good day, and a good day leads to good daily habits, and good daily habits lead to a good life. And your life is almost entirely constituted of those daily habits. They will make or break you. Another great way to start your day is with some cold. Getting exposed to cold weather or taking a cold shower is a great way to really make you feel fully alive, especially if you willfully expose yourself to fresh cold exposure. You have to try it for yourself to feel how empowering it is. Exercise, cold exposure, and even just intentionally taking a cold shower for just an instant after taking a hot shower are all forms of intentionally choosing to stress your body in a positive way. This causes you to breathe properly and get oxygen into your blood circulation. It feels great. It's also a very easy physical way to change your mentality. Instead of being a victim to whom things just happen to, you intentionally take on challenges and become a person who affects change, each and every day in your own small ways. It may seem small, but every great movement for change, even on a societal level, starts as a tiny idea that someone takes action on. When I was a teacher, my school sponsored me to go to a workshop called Capturing Kids' Hearts. It introduced a lot of great techniques, but the one that I really appreciate these days is one called Good Things. Every time you gather, have a small group, or start a class, you ask one simple question. You ask someone to volunteer to tell everyone about one good thing that has happened recently. It starts the group on a positive note. It may seem like a small thing, and it is, but life is full of small things, and the sooner you learn to take notice of those good small things, the sooner great big things will happen. Lastly, I want to share about a young group of second-generation Korean Americans I work with. They meet and keep up with each other through the internet. I introduced this idea to the young guy who leads the group, and he liked it so much that he asked all the others in this group to start posting their list of gratitude publicly for each other in the forum to see. I thought it was a good idea, but I was skeptical that anyone would keep doing this over a prolonged period of time. This was nearly a year ago, and to my surprise, a great many of the kids he asked to do this are still posting their thankfulness lists amongst each other over these many months. He started a group doing it in Korea, Australia, America, and Canada. I'm really impressed. So if you want to feel happy, and who doesn't, simply get out a sheet of paper and try to think of 5 to 10 things you really appreciate in your life. Write them down in detail and have yourself a really happy, insightful moment. Then do it again a few days later and encourage someone else to do so also. To see the video by Kurzgesagt or for a link to their thankfulness journal, visit www.bestclassever.org.
And thank you, Jusung, for another amazing episode of The Best Class Ever. Hope you guys really gained something from that too. It is Wednesday, which means tonight we do have another service, so I hope you guys have an amazing service. Yes, it's 3:17. It's the first day after 3:16, and I hope you guys don't lose that feeling, don't lose that fire that we got from yesterday, and I hope that our renewed hearts will continue on for the rest of the year. Everyone have an amazing and awesome service tonight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly, so let's realign. Just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know. I'm burning with desire and the passion.